All right, so let's talk about this CHAMP U BBQ weekend that Oklahoma has coming up. And this is always a massive recruiting weekend for Oklahoma. And it's been this way for, gosh, what does it feel like? Going on almost 10 years now, maybe that close. Nah, probably not that much because Lincoln Riley, we're not that far out of the Lincoln Riley era. But the CHAMP U BBQ weekend is normally where Oklahoma starts to try to really finalize this class. And today I want to give you guys 3 recruits that are currently not committed in this class that you need to be paying attention to that I think are actually pretty crucial to this weekend and crucial for Oklahoma to be able to wrap up and try to target a top 5 class. Before we jump into it, though, I need to hear from y'all. So join the discussion. Jump down in the comments below. Give me your thoughts because Oklahoma has already had some massive news drop in the fact that they're not having the 5-star edge rusher Isaiah Gibson visit campus. And this is where we're going to start off with the first player that Oklahoma fans absolutely need to be paying attention to. Because for the defensive end room, you've got some elite prospects showing up on campus. And most notably, it's probably going to be headlined, or the one you're going to hear the most about is the 4-star defensive end CJ Nixon, right here out of our own backyard in Weatherford, Oklahoma. An elite talent, a guy that can play tight end really well. An elite defensive end player. He dropped the final 2 of Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. But a lot of people feel like this recruitment is starting to wrap up. You really feel like CJ Nixon could be a part of this class for Oklahoma sooner rather than later. But that's not the player we got to pay attention to. The defensive end that you have to pay attention to that's not going to be talked about a whole lot is Smith Orogbo. And Smith Orogbo is a guy that a lot of people right now, they're trending to Texas. They had Texas Tech, but to be honest, I really don't think there's a solid leader in this recruitment. Because depending on who you talk to, it's Tech or it's Texas. And Oklahoma has actually been probably a silent threat in this recruitment for a while. Smith Orogbo's been on campus multiple times, and when I've had a chance to catch up with him, he actually kind of describes Oklahoma as a place that feels like home. And you know, when players talk about a place that feels like home, usually those schools have a really good shot of landing that player's commitment. But Smith Orogbo, according to On3, is the 26th overall player in the country. Like, he is bordering and teetering 5-star status. But regardless, he's a composite top 100 player in the country. So Smith Orogbo, although people will tell you Oklahoma's chances aren't great, they've gotten one unofficial for him. He's coming up for the official. He was just recently at Texas. I believe this is going to be his last one. And the staff does a really good job at narrowing down those visitors when it's the final visit weekend for that specific recruit. The staff does a really good job at closing. So Smith Orogbo, the 4-star defensive end, that's the name you got to watch there. And you've also got Max Granville coming on, but I've kind of been off the Max Granville train for a while, although for some people it's starting to pick back up. I still really like Smith Orogbo, though. Now, moving on to the second prospect that you all need to be paying attention to, and I believe he is the only player coming in at this position. And we talked about him yesterday in another video, but it's important now that you lost the 3-star defensive lineman Christian Evans to Virginia Tech. You're going to have 3-star defensive lineman Kamori Moore on campus, but you're getting the 4-star defensive line commit to the Texas Longhorns, Brandon Brown, on campus. And Brandon Brown, remember yesterday we talked about it, committed to LSU, or committed to Texas, but a lot of people project will end up flipping his commitment to LSU. Oklahoma, though, I think they're a quiet contender here. If they can really sell him on the film, the development that Todd Bates has, and what they're able to do with this defensive line this year, I really think you could try to get Brandon Brown's commitment this week. And to be honest, I think you have to get it this week to land his commitment. But Brandon Brown is, I think, an X factor for Oklahoma, especially on the defensive line, knowing that there's not a lot of other prospects that you're going to be able to go after other than maybe Mekhi Williams-Lee, who I still think right now Oklahoma ends up with. So Brandon Brown, he's that second prospect that you all need to be paying attention to. Now, before we get on to the third guy, If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Want you guys to be a part of the community here. But also jump in the comments below and let me know what you guys think about those two and who you think your third player is going to be. Now, looking at the visitor list, it's full of a bunch of Oklahoma current commits, and there's some guys that aren't on Oklahoma's committed commit list that are going to be on, and we'll recap the rest of those at the very end. But the third player that everybody needs to be paying attention to, I don't think this one's going to be a shock. It's Andrew Babalola, the 6'5.5", 295-pound offensive tackle out of Blue Valley Northwest High School in Overland Park, Kansas. By the way, not that far from the Royals, so go Royals. They're doing really well this season. But a lot of you guys saw the 5-star get predicted to Stanford, which kind of threw everybody for a loop because it's like, wait, Stanford can go out there and try to land elite 5-star offensive tackles, but Bill Beatenbow can't get one? Yeah, those were some of the conversations that were being floated around. No, with him being favored to Stanford and Stanford being such a heavy runner-up or a leader in this recruitment, that's probably the best news for Oklahoma, especially knowing that Michigan's not leading, because it doesn't feel like NIL is going to be a huge factor or a big factor at all in this recruitment, because Stanford is big on academics, and supposedly both of his parents or one of his parents are a doctor or something like that. Oklahoma has a good medical program, and I saw somebody point this out in the Discord earlier today. But they said, like, where you go to school to get your medical degree, it really like it matters, but it's not the end all be all. Like, it's your residency, what you do with that matters. And so for a guy like Andrew Babalola, you could come to the University of Oklahoma, who has a good medical program, and Bill Beatenbow, he could really try to sell you this weekend on the idea of development and an NFL future, what you can make there. So Andrew Babalola, that's an interesting prospect. If Oklahoma can land him, like I said, I still think you have a really good shot at Fasusi. And if you land Fasusi, you're probably getting Darius Afalovic. Guys, this offensive line class for Oklahoma is still that elite. Now, I put it at a 10% chance Oklahoma lands 3 of these elite offensive linemen that we've been talking about. But I'll tell you this, Andrew Babalola, it's a prospect you all got to watch. I think this one could be a sneaky get for Oklahoma. Now, looking at some of the other guys that currently aren't committed for Oklahoma that are going to be showing up, you've got Brandon Brown, Emmanuel Choice, Max Granville, Smith Orogbo, Christian Jones. He's the 4-star linebacker out of Nebraska. And I believe Kamar Archie's going to be on campus. That one was tweeted out a long time ago. And then you saw 4-star safety Amarian Robinson. When there's been a lot of smoke about Arkansas there, somebody said something about Oregon, but I don't feel like that one would be it. It feels like it's too far away. And Arkansas feels like it's falling apart. So it really feels like Amarian Robinson and Oklahoma are the perfect marriage. Brandon Hall's been an elite recruiter, so I'm not really worried about him not being able to close that one up. But Sooner Nation, I want to hear from y'all. So jump in the comments below, join the discussion. Let me know what you guys think about those 3 visitors that I think you all need to be paying attention to. If you don't agree with me, give me your 3. And if you guys have made it this far and you have not already, make sure you guys hit that like and you hit that subscribe button.